Hey everybody, welcome to or back to my channel, My Kinda Stuff. And today I wanted to do a wrap up for February and March. We'll kind of just do rapid fire. I'm not going to talk a lot about the books. I know I've kind of disappeared for about a month now. Um, life's been rough. I've transitioned to working back in office full time now, so that's been a rough transition. My morning starts at 4:45 now, where it used to start at 7, and I don't get home some days until almost 5 o'clock. So that's eaten up a lot of my time. But on top of that, after I got back from Romanticycon, which was kind of like the last video I put out, I actually tested positive for COVID and was sick for like almost 3 weeks straight. I had no voice. I could barely breathe. I had zero energy whatsoever. The same weekend I tested positive for COVID, I unfortunately had to put my 16-year-old cat down. Um, she was quite sick, has been for a while. So that kind of really threw me for a loop, put me in a bad place for a little bit there. Um, so yeah, all that behind us, we are back. Again, being in office has really hindered my amount of reading that I get done. So February, I still read a lot of books. But then my stack for March is very tiny. So let's just hop into it. Let's start with February. The first book I read was A Kingdom of Stars and Shadows by Holly Renee. I gave this one 4 stars. Next up, I read volume 1 of the Solo Leveling light novels. And this one I gave 5 stars. Y'all know I love this story. I'm just really excited to continue these. I actually listened to the audiobook on Everand, and it was so good. It was so well done. I really enjoyed it. So I'm excited to continue these. Next up, I read We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kleiwer. I gave this one 3.5 stars. I really loved the first half of this book, maybe the first 75%. But the ending was really weird and kind of dumb and threw me for a loop and felt really disjointed from the rest of the story. So it was great until it wasn't. Then next up, I listened to Hunted Beast by Kayla Rain and Meg Ann, which is book 2 of the Mate Games Death series, I believe. I think it was book 2. um, they all run together now. There's so many of them. But I gave that one 4 stars. Really fun, silly. I'm really liking the characters in this like arc of the Mate Games world. The pirate, the dragon, they're just all fantastic. It's such a fun series. The audiobooks are top tier, and I'm excited to continue. Then next up, I read Torment Part 2 by Dylan Page. I read Part 1 back in January, and I really enjoyed that. However, Part 2 felt really repetitive and like it didn't have enough of the love triangle going on that book 1 had. So I ended up giving it 3 stars, and I'm going to stop with that series there. There are 5 books total. The first 2, which are part 1 and 2, follow the same group, and then we veer off, and each book after that follows different people. It just after that, I just don't care enough to continue. We've barely met the character of the next book, and I'm just not interested. So we'll be content with reading what we read of that series, but that's it. I'm done. Next up, I read The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramas. This was one of the authors at Romanticycon, so really cool that I got to meet her. I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars, which honestly is higher than I thought I was going to rate it. But I am excited to continue reading this series because think this one was a lot of like setup where we're really going to get into the nitty gritty of the story in the coming books. Next up, I read an arc from Horace Smith Publishing called Paint Blue by William Oswald. I gave that one 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Um, their arcs for me, because I'm on like their arc team, have been kind of hit or miss. This is the second one that I've absolutely loved, but then some of them haven't really hit for me. But I thought this one was a fun, good time. It is YA. So I think maybe that's why I liked it, because it was just kind of a little more lighthearted. After that, I was trying to kind of do like a clear out the Kindle challenge that I was going to record. That video, of course, never ended up happening because I ended up sick. And so, yeah. So I read 4 novellas for that. The first one is Ice Ice Babies by Ruby Dixon, which is part of the Ice Planet Barbarians world. Gave that one 3 stars. All the novellas, like, they're fine. They're not, I feel like, a necessary thing to read, but I just really enjoy the world. So, like, I want to read all the novellas, but really they don't really add much to the story. Next up, I read Ushers by Joe Hill. Again, y'all know I don't really like novellas, but I gave this one 4 stars. Honestly, the more I sit on it, it might be a 5-star. I've never given a novella 5-star, but like I'm on the fence about maybe doing it for this one. But we're gonna leave it at 4. But I was just so pleasantly surprised by it. Then I read yet another novella in the Ice Planet Barbarian world, and that was Calm. I gave that one 2 stars. Um, I feel like that one just none of them are really necessary to the story, but that one truly did nothing. Like, there was no point. It was like 60 pages of fluff. I don't know. And the last novella I read for that was Tiger Chair by Max Brooks. I really like Max Brooks. Unfortunately, I gave that one 1 star. It just I don't know. It kind of tried to do the same like style of story as World War Z. Um but it just did not hit the same. Like Max Brooks does a lot of like documentary style writing with his books. And like very interview styled. We have a lot of characters and we're just getting little snippets of the story to put the story together. Um, but I don't know. That one didn't hit for me. And speaking of books that did not hit for me, I read The Fall of Hyperion by Dan Simon, which is book 2 of the Hyperion Cantos series. I gave book 1 5 stars. I gave this book 2 stars. It just I don't know. It could have done so much more and it just felt like such a letdown. The first book was very like fun. The characters really came alive. They felt different. This one was very like down to earth. There was a lot of really tragic things happening, but like the characters didn't have any life or personality to them like they did in the first book, and it all fell really flat. At times I had a hard time telling who we were following. So yeah, unfortunately, I only gave this one 2 stars. I do have the rest of the series, so I do want to try to continue. Maybe this was just a fluke. We'll see what happens. Then next up, I read Dream Girl Drama by Tessa Bailey. This one was her new release from back in February. I gave it 3.5 stars. Yeah, it was fine. Nothing spectacular, but I still had fun with it, and I think it's a super cute addition. And then after that, I read Hench by Natalie Zeno Walshotz. I read this for part of the traveling book over in the Love and Horror Discord. So that'll be linked down below if you want to join the Discord. It's hosted by me and Jenny from over at the Haphazard Book Nook. We do buddy reads in there. We hang out and have movie nights. So we just have a lot of fun over there chatting, talking, crafting. But I ended up giving Hench 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I'm so excited to continue with that series when the next book comes out. Then next up, I read The Teller of Small Fortunes. Um, I got this as a book of the month pick because I thought the cover was really cute. Unfortunately, cozy fantasies aren't for me. I knew that. I shouldn't have gotten it. I gave it 2.5 stars. But at least I read it and it's off my TBR. Then next up, another book for the traveling book club that I'm part of for The Void, which is hosted by Maggie from Maggie's Books and Stuff, was Pen Pal by J.T. Geisinger. This is my copy, so it's not annotated, but I did annotate our traveling copy. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. Absolutely fantastic. I didn't know where the story was going, and even at the end, you're still kind of left questioning things. But it was just so much fun, and I loved every second of it. Like, I sat down and I binge read the entire thing in one sitting. I couldn't put it down. Then after that, I listened to Listen to Your Sister by Nina Vale. This was another February release. I unfortunately only gave it 2.5 stars as well. I don't really know what it was with this one for me. I think I just didn't really connect with the characters. They were all like really aggressive and over the top for no reason. And it was just a lot of like siblings squabbling the whole time. And I didn't care. Like their drama was stupid and petty, and I didn't care. So when it came down to like good versus evil and the siblings versus whatever, like I was rooting for the bad guy and not them because I just thought they were annoying because all they did was argue. And then for the Love and Horror Book Club pick for the month of February, we read Marrow by Trisha Wolfe and Bryn Weaver. This story is kind of similar to like Butcher and Blackbird. It's two serial unalivers that fall in love. This one I gave 3.5 stars. It was just okay. Again, nothing terribly wrong with it, but definitely not like a new all-time favorite or anything, but it was still a pretty decent read. Next up, I read Desert Creatures by Kay Chronister. This was part of my TBR game for February. I ended up giving this one 2 stars as well. This is my very pretty Twisted Retreat edition. I've been really trying to get through my Twisted Retreat books. But unfortunately, most of them have been a pretty big miss for me. So, yeah, I don't know. It was fine. Again, where the story felt kind of like disjointed, like the beginning and the end felt like two different things. There's also not really chapters in that one. It's just kind of like a part one and part two sort of thing. Um, I don't know. It was kind of boring as well. I feel like it wasn't even really a horror. Not all that much happened. It was just whatever. It was fine. I read it. Next up, I read Pike Island by Tony Wirt. This was again part of my TBR game. I gave that one 3 stars. I was really excited. I heard such good things about this book, but again, it was just all stupid, petty drama, and like it didn't feel like horror to me. I don't know. I don't know what people really loved about it. It was decent, but like it wasn't great. So I don't get why everyone loves it, but to each their own. Then another book that was part of my TBR game that I actually ended up DNFing, even though it is the last book in the series. That is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. I've hated this entire series. This book is 1,000 pages. I have the audiobook on Audible. I listened to like at somewhere between like a third or half of it, and I was listening to it the entire month, and I was like having to force myself to like pick it up and listen to a chapter or two. I just couldn't get into it. I didn't care. I'm totally over it. And next time I do an unhaul, I'm pretty sure this is going to be one of the series on the chopping block because I didn't enjoy my time with it at all. Then next up, another February new release that I read was Scythe and Sparrow by Bryn Weaver. This is also, we're kind of doing is like part of the traveling book for the Love and Horror and the Void Discords kind of combined because we read the first two books together, and I don't know. It just kind of is out of rotation of everything else, but we're still doing the same sort of traveling book idea where like each person reads it and annotates it. I'm so happy. I gave this one 5 stars. I gave book 1 in the series 5 stars, and then book 2 I ended up absolutely hating. I just thought it was garbage. So I'm really happy that I liked this one because I was really afraid going into it that like it was gonna disappoint me as much as book 2 did, but it was absolutely fantastic, quirky characters, um, the raccoon, like, everything was just it was fun. I really enjoyed it, so I'm happy that I read it. Then another traveling book that I read for the Void Discord by Maggie from Maggie's Books and Stuff was The Ballad of Sea and Sky by Madeline Elliott. This one kind of took me by surprise. I ended up giving it only 3 stars, but I did enjoy it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Normally, books about like mermaids, sirens, selkies, any kind of like water creature like that, I normally hate. So I don't know. This one ended up at least being decent, and I at least enjoyed it. And then last but certainly not least, another February new release that I read was Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. 5 stars, but easily infinite stars. This is my favorite Allie Hazelwood book ever. And this is my really cute copy from the Probably Smut book box. It is hardcover, and I also got some vellum overlays for it. I can't show the other one because it's a little too spicy for the YouTubes. But yeah, absolutely had a great time with that. Oh, you know what? I lied. I did read one more book. I had another arc from Horrorsmith Publishing, and that was Lake of Secrets by Cassandra O'Sullivan. And I gave that one 3 stars. It was fine. But honestly, like thinking back on it now, I can't remember a ton about it. It was another one that was YA. Um, but I think just the main character I just didn't really like. Like sometimes she was tolerable, other times she was really annoying, and I don't know. It was fine. It wasn't bad, but not a favorite. So, those were all of the books that I read for the month of February. Now, let's hop into all of the books that I read in March. All right. So, in the month of March is kind of where I had started going back into office full time every single day, and my reading really started to fall off. Um, so, I did still read a decent amount. I think I read like 9 books, but 2, 3 of them were novellas. I don't know. It was an okay reading month, but it I definitely struggled a lot. But the first one that I read was The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. This was a March release. It's part of an Amazon Originals thing. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I kind of wish that it wasn't a novella. I really liked it. I really liked the characters, and I wish we had more. Like, I want a full novel of these characters, but it's obviously not going to happen now because they have a novella, but it was a lot of fun. Next up, I read Full Moon Rising by Ruby Dixon. I'm not gonna lie, this was a complete cover buy for me. I think it's absolutely adorable. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It was okay. I might give book 2 a try. I think that just came out, or it comes out very soon. I'll have to look it up. I don't really remember, but it was all right. But again, didn't do anything fantastic. Another book that was just all right, but I'm really disappointed by because I normally love her books. But that was I Got Abducted by Aliens and Now I'm Trapped in a Rom-Com by Kimberly Lemming. I gave this one 3.5 stars. I was really, really expecting more out of this. I've really liked all of her other books. Um, so, yeah, I don't know. It was okay. Wasn't the best. Then another part of a series that I started was the Immortals After Dark series by Kresley Cole. I read the prequel novella called The Warlord Wants Forever. I can't talk. That's really hard to say for some reason. I gave that one 3 stars. It was okay, but again, I don't really care for novellas, but I've heard nothing but fantastic things about this series as a whole. There's a whole lot of books in the series. I want to say there's like 12 to 15, something like that. I don't know. It's a ton. But I also then read book 1 of the series, which is A Hunger Like No Other, and ended up giving it 4 stars. I really, really liked this. He is absolutely feral for her, and she is not about it. Lots of drama. It was just such a fun time, and I can't wait to read the rest of this series. I'm definitely obsessed with these new covers. Um, so I'm going to be getting all of these as they release and like kind of reading them that way because obviously the entire series is out already. It is a pretty old series. But I think only the first like 3 of it are out in this new cover so far. They're releasing one like every few months. So excited to pick up the rest of these and continue reading them because this one was a lot of fun. Next up, I read The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. This is another 4 stars for me. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of really gross, disgusting parts in this. I obviously knew that it had to do with eyeballs, right? Like, this is my Twisted Retreat copy. It's like covered in eyeballs on the spines. There's eyeballs here. There's eyeballs on the inside. There's eyeballs everywhere. There's a whole jar of eyeballs. And this is such an amazing like addition. It's so cool. And the naked hardcover, I'm not obsessed with, but it's fine. But yeah, I really, really liked this one. This is one of the few Twisted Retreat books that has really worked for me, so happy that I got it. Then next up, I kind of deviated from what I normally read and went with a historical fiction and read The Dressmakers of Auschwitz by Lucy Addleton. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I, for the longest time before I started doing booktube, used to only read historical fiction. And I haven't really picked one up since I started like doing booktube and getting into horror and romance and that kind of stuff. So it was kind of refreshing to pick something like this up again and kind of get a change of pace. And I think it also really helped me continue my reading because it kind of broke up the monotony of everything. And yeah, I was a little disappointed. I normally really enjoy World War II novels. This one just kind of fell a little flat for me. It's obviously like about a concentration camp, right? And like the women there and them having to make dresses for people that were murdering them. It should be really impactful and like sad and depressing, but when you can't connect with the characters, it falls a little flat on that front. And I think that's where like I didn't connect with it as much. It's just I didn't connect with the characters. So like when all these terrible things are happening, I just didn't feel it quite as enough, I think. Next up, I read Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes. I read Dead Silence quite a few months back now and absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, this one only got 3.5 stars from me. It still was decent. It still had some good horror type scenes, but it definitely didn't give that like isolated suspense that you felt in Dead Silence. Like I was on the edge of my seat the entire time reading Dead Silence, and this one didn't, I don't know, it didn't have the same effect. But Cold Eternity, which is her third book, comes out in April, so I really wanted to try to get to this one before that came out, um, so that I was caught up. Even though they're not really a series, I'm aware. I just like to try to read things in like publication order. So yeah, glad that I read it. I still didn't hate it, but it definitely didn't have the same effect that Dead Silence did on me. Next up, I finished Love and Formaldehyde, another kind of novella. I don't know. It's 177 pages. I read this one on Kindle. I started it back in February while I was at Romanticycon and didn't really like the beginning of it, so I ended up putting it down. And then I ended up picking it back up in March, is just kind of like my read a chapter before bed every night kind of read, because I always have one of those going on my Kindle. So like it might take me an entire month to get through a book on my Kindle because I read like one chapter and then pass out. But I gave this one 2.5 stars. It was okay, nothing special, very similar to other things that I've read. But there was a lot of like lost, or I don't know, not lost time, but like we'd move on, like, and hours would skip, but we were never told that. So like this dude meets her and like offers to take her to dinner because she's new to town, and she declines his offer. And then he decides he's gonna like get her a pizza to eat, but like the next sentence he's leaving a pizza on her doorstep. But like where did he pull that pizza out of? Was it in his pocket? Is it pocket pizza? Like where did you get this pizza from? Because it's been a sentence since you walked out of her front door, and now all of a sudden you have a pizza that you're putting there. It would have been like an hour later, you would think, at least, by the time he got home and made her a pizza or ordered her a pizza or went to pick up a pizza for her. Like time would have passed. But and it was weird things like that throughout the entire thing, where like time was passing, but we had no indication that time was passing. So it just felt really awkward reading it, because you're like, how did we, what? What is happening? How did we get here? Because it doesn't make sense. Then next up, I listened to Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave that one 4 stars. It is very similar in style to Daisy Jones and the Six. So if you liked that, you may very well like this one as well. I am still trying to work through my backlog of her books, but I've really enjoyed everything that I've read by her so far, so I'm excited to keep going and read some more. Then next up, I finally finished a series, and that is the Twisted series by Anna Huang. I read Twisted Lies and ended up giving it 4 stars. This series has kind of been a roller coaster for me. I hated book 1. I loved book 2. Book 3 was okay. This one, also pretty okay. Maybe even a little better than okay. It's probably my second favorite, I would say. So, yeah, glad that I read it. Glad that I continued with the series, even though I hated the first book, because there were, at least 2 other ones in the 4-book series that I did really end up enjoying. So, glad that I read it. Also glad that I have a series knocked off and can move on to getting even more series, because let's be honest, that seems to be all I do is collect more series to read and then never finish them. And then last but certainly not least, I read Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. We are reading this one for the Love and Horror Book Club. This was our March pick. We have not had our live discussion for it yet, so I'm going to save my rating and thoughts for that. It's going to be a little bit delayed because we have people on vacation and I was out for like a month, and it's just there's been a lot going on. But I think we are going to have a live discussion for this one and Marrow, probably combine it maybe in April with our April pick. Um, yeah, I don't know. We need to discuss it and kind of figure it out. But also, our pick for April is Lords of Pain by Angel Lawson and Samantha Rue. So if you want to join us in April for that one, um, we'd love to have you. The Discord again is linked down below, so feel free to join. And that being said, that wraps up all of the books that I read in February and in March. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I know this video was a little bit longer, but that's just because I was trying to wrap up both months for you guys, let you know what I read. I did not, well, I played my TBR game in March, but I didn't make a video for it. I recorded it, and then when I got sick, I like never finished doing my like book selections, and then I lost the recording of all of my rolls, and the video just it never happened. So technically I played my TBR game. I had 4 books that the game gave me, so it was fairly nice to me, and I did read all 4 of them. So I did win, and I did win in February. February I only had 3 books. The game's been really nice. It's technically already April. It is April 1st today as I'm filming this, but I think I am going to play my TBR game for the month because I don't really have any solid reading plans for the month of April other than like our Love and Horror Book Club pick and like 2 other books I think that like I really want to get to, and other than that it's just a bunch of like new releases that I may or may not get to. Probably won't get to all of them because I'm not going to probably buy all of them. I might wait to get them from the library because there's some that like I want to read but I don't care to own, sort of thing. And there was a ton of new releases in April. It's ridiculous. So that'll be a separate video coming up next. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Let me know down in the comments below if there have been any books that you've read recently that were really standout reads, because I've kind of been out of the booktube space for the last month, so I feel like I've probably missed a lot. So let me know if there's anything that I need to pick up and read. And yeah, make sure you give the video a thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe if you're new, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.